Welcome to Kirsti Cast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsti Manna. Are you a planner or are you a fly by the seat of your pantser kind of person? Do you make it up as you go along, or do you really need to know what's going to happen? I'm kind of a need to know kind of person. I like to plan things. I like to know the beginning, the middle, the end. But there's part of me that loves to be spontaneous because it's really fun to fly, right? But let me tell you that if you want to have success in your life and your career, then you really need to learn more about making plans for what you want to do. And one of the best ways to do that is to establish some goals. Now, if you've watched some of my other podcasts, you might have heard me talk about my acting coach. He was really impacting to me. And one thing that he taught in his classes was that you should become a goal setter. Now, whoever thought about a creative person, being a goal setter, being a planner? But it's really important because as creatives, we can kind of get off the track a little bit and go off on a tangent, down the rabbit hole, that kind of thing. So, here's what he suggested, and this has worked for me. He asked us to make 3 goals for 1 week, for 2 weeks, for 1 month, for 6 months, and for the year. But it's not just about making that goal list. It's really about figuring out how you're going to manifest those goals. So it's a little bit of homework. You have to really think about it. I remember in acting class, somebody would say, well, I want to win an Academy Award. And he would say, well, how are you going to do that? What are the steps that you would take to win an Academy Award? And it really got us thinking in that class. So just remember, make those goals, set those goals, make plans to achieve reality in your success. There's a lot of power in your goals, and I hope that you're going to try that out. Hope those tips help. Stick around. We're going to be right back with the Shiro Spotlight. Stay tuned for the Shiro Spotlight. Welcome back, everybody, to Kirsti Cast, and one of my favorite people to talk to today is here for my Shiro Spotlight. I met this person on set, on a video shoot with an artist named Tori Martin on Lucky Sky Music. And just let me tell you a little bit about her. She was born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I've never been there. And she got her start in local and I think regional theater. And also she was in the carnival. No, she wasn't in the carnival, but I know she'd think that was funny that I said that. She decided that performing wasn't for her, so she thought, well, I'm gonna, use makeup as my medium. And so she got really, really great at that, and also hairstyling. And she's gone on to work on all kinds of television productions, magazine campaigns, and touring country music artists. So please welcome to Kirsti Cast, Aubrey Heller. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for coming out today. It's a really hot day in Nashville.
Already. It's not even noon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really love working with you. You're so much fun. You're so off the cuff. You're so talented as a makeup artist. You really see how to bring out the best in people. And so if anybody out there needs an amazing makeup artist and stylist, they need to call you because you're just a delight to work with.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I do love my job.
Yeah, I know you do. So who was one of the most influential people to you in your career, would you say?
You mean like other makeup artists, right? Or like other people in my field?
Yeah.
Taryn Feldman is another local makeup artist. You've worked with her before as well. She's amazing, and she's really helped me. And like the main way that she's helped me is that she just lets me be myself, and she trusts that, she can refer me to clients and they'll enjoy my work and enjoy working with me. So that's been a really big confidence boost for me to see someone that has been that successful trust me and believe in me. So
that's so cool. Yeah. It's like a real champion.
Yes.
Having somebody that's kind of mentoring you without saying, I'm going to mentor you.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's never going to tell me what to do. She's just like, yes, you got this.
She's just there. That's really nice. I love that. So what do you feel like is one of the challenges in working with artists in your job? What's a challenge these days, you think?
I mean, the biggest challenge is working for myself, and then I have to work with the artist team, and there's a lot of like clerical work and billing and things that like I'm not an organized person, I'm a creative. So like I would say that's the biggest challenge, is having to hold myself accountable and stay on top of the stuff that isn't as glamorous as like showing up and being an artist.
I think that's really good advice. You know, I always tell people that ask me that about how do I get started in songwriting or in music business, whatever. And I think that that is so important to know that you have to run a business, even if you're a creative person. And it can be tough for us creatives sometimes to get on that track. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And my mom was always like, why don't you take business classes in college? And I'm like, I'm never going to use that. And now I'm like, oh my God, I should take a business class. I should have listened to my mother. Yeah. I mean, how many times do I say that in a day now? But it is really wild. It's not just like super glamorous fun times, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like making people pretty. You have a lot of back end stuff to do.
You show up with such a great kit and everything. I mean, that's always super organized. You
think?
Oh, yeah. I've checked it out. I think it's really great.
That's like a learned behavior for sure. I'm like, how do I troubleshoot so I can find everything that I own? But yeah, it doesn't come naturally to most creatives.
How do you pick the perfect lipstick for somebody?
I mix them.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. I have a little palette. I depot my lipsticks and they get shoved in this palette and I scoop them out and mix them up.
Wow. Okay, everybody. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Aubrey Heller just gave us a tip. Pull them out of the pots and mix them up.
Exactly. Literally. Like same with foundation. It's like I don't have to have everybody's perfect color. I just grab, a range and then make it work per client.
Ah, that's good. I'm glad I asked that question. It just came up through
That means you have to buy more lipstick. That was the problem.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
If I was stuck on a deserted island and they say, what would you have? I would never pick sunscreen. I'd just go under a tree and I'd say, I have to have lipstick.
Yes.
I can't live without it.
There you go.
So tell me your Stay Inspired story. I always love to have my guests talk about this. Something that's really inspired them and impacted them. Could be a person, a thing that happened in your life.
I think I like to draw back from like the first thing that ever inspired me to become a makeup artist. And it's really wild. So I majored in linguistics at the University of Iowa. And I have a minor in French and a minor in Japanese.
Wow.
Studied Japanese all through high school, went to Japan. And I've always been infatuated with like Japanese and East Asian culture. And I remember the first time I saw anything in like representing a geisha, whether it was in like a game I was playing or Memoirs of a Geisha came out when I was in like middle school probably.
Yeah.
And just the way that like their makeup specifically was an art form, I think that's what really like ignited my desire to be a makeup artist.
Oh, that is so interesting.
It's weird how it all kind of folded together. But yeah, I think just like being interested in Japan and Japanese culture and then seeing that like there's a specific makeup style that goes along with that. And then it just kind of went from there.
And why they do that.
Right. The why is really cool. I've always been interested in like the biology of it too. Like the reason women put blush on their cheeks is so that they appear more fertile and more like, it's like all about being attractive is kind of like the inspiration for it.
Well, gosh, and if you want to talk about makeup and overdone or whatever, however you want to describe it, the French.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really into that and, perfuming themselves and all that kind of stuff. I was really interested in Marie Antoinette when I was a kid and read so many books about her. And I spent time in Japan, too. I was over there playing shows and lived there for a couple months.
I love Japan.
And there were some of the clubs that we played in, there were geishas that came in, and they were fascinating to see.
It is fascinating. They're just like ultra feminine, mysterious. Like I just was always very
Well, they just look like dolls.
Yes.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
And the kimonos is that what they call them? Kimonos, right?
Yep.
So that's so interesting. Well, we'll have to have a longer discussion about that someday on a set.
I'll talk about it all day. I love it.
I would love to. So who's an artist, who's like your dream artist? Like if you could, I'm going to guess a name, but I'm not going to say it out loud. Who's like your dream artist that you would like to work on?
Oh my God, I want to know what you thought mine was. Okay, so I thought about this question a lot because I feel like the gap between like celebrity and the rest of us is narrowing by the minute with social media. So I don't really like look at celebrities as like, I want to work with that person because they're really famous or whatever. So it really comes down to like whether or not I felt like we would be a good creative match.
Oh, that's interesting.
But also it's like I know too much and I overanalyze, and all of these celebrities have salaried makeup artists. So I would never in a million years be like, please hire me. But Lady Gaga.
Oh,
I would love to work with her.
Now I could see that. Did you watch her? What's her 4 foot?
5'2".
5'2".
Yes.
4'2". She'd be this big. That's a really interesting.
She's really cool.
She's very fascinating. Yeah. I was going to say Beyonce.
I would also love to work with Beyonce.
I was going to say that because what a gorgeous face.
It's weird to say it because, again, the gap is narrowing and I'm like, oh my God, what if her makeup artist sees this? And it's like, not a chance. It's like I would never want to step on anybody else's toes.
Yeah.
But even an artist like that, I like to start with artists too and grow with them.
Yes.
And that's kind of where you like create their brand and their look.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like writing with an artist. You can, if you really click with them as a person, which I think you really click with Tori.
Yes,
you really click with somebody, then, you can start to kind of shape them and, then they start to really trust you. And then you can put on the Halloween makeup. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Then
the elf makeup.
Right, the elf makeup. Right. Oh, that's funny.
You're my favorite client.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't mess up an elf. What are you going to do? Now, here's something I always ask my guests. What is your power word?
Therapy.
Ah, why is that?
Just kidding. I mean, therapy is like my most used word probably. I would say maybe like confidence is probably like if I had to pick like a word that makes me feel good. I think confidence will get you a really long way. And it's not to be confused with like ego or arrogance.
Yeah.
Like if you're just confident and know that like you have something to bring to the table, that's going to enhance your quality of life.
I love that because I think that confidence is what really builds people to be strong people, strong in their creativity, strong in what, their life, their relationships, whatever they're going to work on. And I'm really fortunate. I grew up with parents that, really instilled that in me. And it's really important for me, whenever I work with somebody, a young artist, anybody, to always try to help them, be confident. Because I think it really makes your life perfect.
And it's hard. It's not just something that, I mean, maybe to some people it comes naturally, but I think we lose it as we age as well. Yeah. So it's like the world gets you down and you start to lose your confidence. And then you really have to take the time to dig in and figure out who you are and what you want to be.
Yeah.
So
that's great advice.
Thanks.
So if you could finish this sentence, the thing I'm most grateful for today is
therapy.
There it is again.
Yeah, honestly that.
How do you get therapy? Do you see somebody for therapy?
I have a therapist. I've worked with her for like 4 years. And I think when you meet with someone that is also adequately therapized, it's like your conversations just take on a different tone. You don't have to like talk about the weather or which is fine. Weather is everywhere. But like, you can really get to know people and who they are. Yeah. And I think once you do that work yourself, it will then inspire other people to do that work. So.
And I think too, that whenever I've been around you, you have such a calmness when you're working, with the artists I work with. You have such a calmness in working with people, and that to me is kind of a therapy. You listen, and you're really great at that. And I've always thought stylists were the greatest therapists of all. They have to be listeners.
Well, you have to be listeners, and then you have to learn how to
curb your enthusiasm.
Handle that. Yeah, because it's a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
I haven't not cried in my car over like a story I've heard from a client.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, that's so great.
It's all about compassion and caring. It's less about what you look like.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, you make everybody look fabulous, and I know that anybody out there that's listening is going to look you up. How can people find you if they want to work with you?
Honestly, Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. I have my portfolio on there. I don't really use websites anymore. It's like an expense, you know.
Okay.
So Aubrey Heller Official is my portfolio page if you want to see my work. What else? Email me, aubreyhmakeup@gmail.com.
Great.
Ask Kirsti, she'll give you my number.
That's right. You can email me.
Seriously. I get so many just text messages. Hey, I got your number from so-and-so, and that's the best way to get in contact with me. I'm always on my phone.
That's great. I like how you're being very open about that. Some people are like, oh no, I can't give up my information. That's great.
I don't have an agent, so just text me otherwise.
That's great.
It'll get lost.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here today. I know it's a lot to, take time out of your busy schedule. I know you were working late last night and working with a client this morning, and
I wouldn't have it any other way.
well, I can't wait to see you again soon on set, and good luck with everything. Everybody stick around. We're going to be right back.
You're my hero, more than a hero, and I look up to you every single day. Every day, my celebration, my inspiration is to be like you, but in my own way. You're my hero, more than a
I've spent years of self-discovery learning how to live a successful creative life. That's why I created my course, Spark Your Creativity, the Steps to a Successful Creative Journey, to help others discover their own potential. Your creative journey never ends. So why not invest in yourself and sign up for my course today at Kirsti.com. See you on the journey. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us today at KirstiCast, and a very special thank you to my guest, Aubrey Heller. It was so great to have her on the interview today. I want to make sure to tell you to check out my Spark Your Creativity online course at my website, Kirsti.com. And don't forget to listen, like, and download this episode and share it with all of your friends. We want to make sure everybody's checking out KirstiCast. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, or you know somebody you think would make a great guest, you can email me at info@songwritergirl.com. Hope I'm going to see you again next week. And whatever you do, stay inspired. You've been listening to KirstiCast.